Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now a massive warning signal is still flashing on this Bitcoin chart as the price of Bitcoin is continuing to retest this major area of support here in the short term after just rejecting from major resistance, while the price of Bitcoin is getting closer towards major liquidations potentially coming very soon, while Ethereum is very close to completing a potential bearish pattern on this chart right here. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and nothing's changed over the last 1 day on this chart, so we're still sitting in the red in the super trend indicator on this time frame. And getting straight into the 2-day Bitcoin chart, we're still within the massive descending broadening wedge pattern, which is essentially a longer term bearish trend which we've been in for the last half a year or so. And in order to really reverse this bearish trend into a much larger bullish trend, also known as a bull run, we really need to see a breakout above this descending line of resistance, which currently is sitting at close to 66,000, but ideally we need a breakout above around 67 to 68,000 to be more confident that we're really flipping much more bullish again on the larger timeframes and not just seeing a short-term bullish trend during the larger bearish trend. And with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, and what we have just now seen over the last 1 day is a continued spike to the upside in the DXY, which is a bearish signal for the price of Bitcoin and crypto, as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel. And so obviously just last week we did see a major spike to the upside in the DXY, which was potentially one of the primary reasons that caused the dump in the price of Bitcoin over that last 1 week or so. But then around the weekend, the DXY closes for trading, which allowed the price to have a slight bounce in the short term, which was a very, very small short squeeze, which I covered over the last 3 days, give or take. But obviously, as I explained in my last 1 to 2 videos, that short squeeze is essentially over. And so we're now due to see potentially the continuation of a bit more bearish price action, especially if we see more of a pump in the DXY, which is what we are now seeing. And now, of course, no indicator is 100% perfect all of the time, but usually, most of the time, when the DXY is bullish, oftentimes we see bearish price action for the price of Bitcoin, and this time so far has been no different. So once again, the DXY is spiking right now, which is a bearish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And while this is happening, looking at this daily Bitcoin chart, we're now retesting this major area of support, which we previously bounced from roughly around a week ago, and that's sitting in between around 60.2k to 61.2k, so around 60 to 61,000. At least for now, we should find some decent support in that area, as we've seen previously. But if we actually break back below around $60,000 with a daily candle close, for example, back below $60,000, in that situation, we should find a bit of support at around 59,500 and potentially a bit of support at around 58,000, but really below $60,000, the next significant area of support to the downside is sitting in between around 56 to 57,000. So that could be a likely scenario if we actually first confirm a break below 60,000, which at the time of recording this video has not yet happened. And as for resistance, in case we see yet another bounce from this area of support like what we saw last time, we should find some short-term resistance at close to 63,000, and we still have this significant resistance at around 64.2k to 64,500, give or take, which is pretty much exactly where we rejected from just a couple of days ago here, as I warned about on the channel even before that happened. But even if we were to see a breakout back above 64,500, once again, we still have very strong resistance at around 67 to 68,000. And so that's the support and resistance to pay attention to on this daily Bitcoin chart. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term on the 6-hour time frame, technically speaking, the RSI still has a little bit more room to the downside here in the short term, which also means the price potentially has more room to the downside as well. And so as I explained over the last half a week or so, we were seeing this oversold signal play out pretty much perfectly for roughly around half a week. But like I said, just over the last couple of days, this oversold signal has already played played out. It's already reset the RSI back to the upside, even closer back up towards overbought territories, closer towards overbought than we were to oversold at this high point right here, which means we have well and truly reset the RSI, giving us much more room to the downside again in the short term in the RSI and in the price action. So this oversold signal is not necessarily a trend reversal signal. It just means in the imminent short term for the next couple of days, we could see a slight relief or a bit of a break from the bearish price action, but not necessarily the end of the bearish trend, which is what I've been saying this entire time, and so far has been playing out pretty much perfectly step by step every day along the way. And now there's still the possibility that we could remain range bound within this sideways price range right here. So in between this area of support that I just mentioned earlier and this area of resistance that I just mentioned earlier. That's still a possibility as of right now. But obviously, if we actually see a break back below around $60,000, that will be a very bearish signal in the short term, showing a lot of weakness and potentially some more bearish momentum in the markets, at least in the short term, if we first confirm a break below 60,000, which for now has not yet happened. And so those are the things happening in the market right now, and the support and resistance and everything to pay attention to for the price of Bitcoin here in the short term. And of course, the longer term trends have not really changed at all over the last 1 day. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make your Bybit account a deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, I'll take you to this page right here, which is my cryptoworld team in the World Series of Trading, which is the biggest trading competition in the world. Is happening right now over on Bybit. And if you join my cryptoworld team, you could potentially have a shot at this $10 million prize pool, because that is the prize pool right now in the World Series of Trading. Well, the potential prize pool, the maximum prize pool of up to $10 million. And also, just by entering my cryptoworld team in this trading competition, that also enters you into this potential lucky draw right here to potentially win a lucky draw prize of a Rolex watch or even a luxury yacht. That's right, Bybit's giving away a luxury yacht just by entering the trading competition and joining my cryptoworld team, link down below. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5K deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that's only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there other than Bybit, once again, there's Bitfinex links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and over the last 1 day, we've now taken out a bit of short-term liquidity to the downside, which was sitting in between around 61.3K to 61.7K, give or take. So those positions have now been wiped out. And at the time of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is moving closer towards this major level of liquidity to the downside that has been forming over the last nearly 1 week, give or take. And this level of liquidity is really an area in between around 59.6K to 59.8K, so just underneath $60,000. And so that could be a potential price target to pay attention to here in the short term. And if we start breaking well below 60,000, liquidating a lot of those long positions right here, because if we liquidate positions to the downside, that means liquidating long positions. And if that happens with bearish momentum at the same time as the DXY continuing to spike to the upside, there's a good chance that we could potentially break below this support and run into the next major areas of support to the downside. But obviously, at least at the time of recording this video, that has not yet happened. So the price is still holding on to this area of support. So we still have this area of support between the current price at the time of recording this video and that potential liquidation level at just underneath $60,000. So keep in mind, we still have support in this region, basically providing the possibility that the price could still bounce here in the short term. But overall, we're not looking bullish really at all here in the short term. At best, we're looking potentially neutral in a sideways price range if we can hold this support. But if this support breaks, then that would be more of a bearish signal. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now the long-term trend is still bearish, as I've been saying for many months now on the channel, but we're still holding above this massive area of support in between around 2150 to 2.2k, and we still have resistance at around 2,500 and strong resistance at around 2.8k. And if we're taking a look at this Ethereum chart on the 12-hour time frame, we're potentially forming a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern for the price. But obviously at the time of recording this video, this potential head and shoulders that's forming is not yet confirmed, because in order to confirm this pattern, we need to see basically a completion of the right shoulder with a further pullback back down towards this neckline, which is sitting at around 2360, and then we need to see a confirmed break below the neckline with candle closes below that level in order to actually confirm the head and shoulders pattern and the potential bearish price target that would follow. And we would also have to keep in mind that even if we start breaking below this neckline right here, below around 2360, we also have this major area of support right here in between around 2280 to 2320. And we also have a bit of support at this local low at around 2220. So keep that in mind as well. But when it comes to the technical price target for this potential head and shoulders pattern right here, if we confirm the pattern, once again, right now, this is not confirmed by any means, but if we confirm the pattern by seeing a confirmed break below the neckline and ideally below this area of support, then in that case, that would confirm a bearish price target for this head and shoulders pattern, which would be sitting at approximately 2050, so just above $2,000. So from the point of the breakdown to that price target, that would be around a 13% move to the downside, or if you wait for a break below this area of support right here to that price target, that will still be roughly around a 10% move to the downside. And so this could be a potential trading opportunity that we can look at here. Obviously, we can make money even in bearish price action using things like short positions, for example. But once again, I want to make it clear that right now that potential bearish price target is not confirmed and not in play, because we've not yet confirmed the break to the downside below the neckline to confirm this pattern. But with that being said, we are still finding resistance in this price range here in the short term in between around 2440 to around 2470, give or take. And above that, we have more resistance in between 2550 to 2580 and massive resistance in between 2.7k to 2.8k. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at that 8-hour time frame, obviously the RSI is sitting closer towards the neutral levels, basically reset out of those oversold territories that we saw roughly around a week ago, as I've been explaining here on the channel basically every day over the last 1 week, give or take. But like I've been warning about over the last 1 to 2 days, we've already seen that signal now play out. So it's pretty much no longer playing out here in the short term. And this now means we have more room to the downside again in the RSI and the price action. And so like I explained in my last video, in order to expect more of a sustainable bullish trend, we can no longer rely on this signal anymore, and we need to see other bullish signals confirm, like for example, confirmed breakouts above key resistance, which for now has not yet happened. And with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and right now, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana is experiencing a slight pullback, retesting this area of support, sitting in between around 137 to 142. So for now, that's still the support to pay attention to. But if we break back below around 137, in that case, the next major area of support to the downside is sitting in between around 120 to 128. And as for resistance, in case we see another bounce from this area of support, in that case, we do have a bit of short-term resistance at around 152 to 154 based on previous price action, and a massive area of resistance in between around 159 to 163 approximately. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 6-hour time frame, like I already warned about over the last 1 to 2 days, we have already played out the oversold signal here in the short term. So we've already reset the RSI from oversold back up towards above neutral levels, which means we can no longer rely on that oversold signal to continue to play out here in the short term, because it's already played out, as I said, over the last 1 to 2 days, which means we now have more room to the downside again in the RSI and the price action. because as I've also been explaining pretty much most days over the last 1 week or so, as this signal has been playing out, it's not necessarily a trend reversal signal. Sometimes it just means a slight bounce or a bit of choppy sideways price action during a bearish trend. So just keep in mind, just because we're seeing an oversold signal playing out, that means in the immediate short term, we're due to see a bit of a relief from the bearish price action, but not necessarily the end of a bearish trend. And so overall, Solana's looking relatively neutral just in the short term. Of course, if we break below this area of support, so below around 137, obviously in the short term, that would be a bearish signal, flipping the momentum much more bearish if we confirm a break below that support. But for now, while we're still holding above that level, at least as I've recorded this video, we're looking relatively neutral because we don't really have a lot of bearish momentum while we're holding above that level, but we also don't have a lot of bullish momentum. So we're neutral at best here in the short term, but if we break below this support, it then would flip much more bearish. And as I've also explained here on the channel, usually the price of Solana follows similar price action to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So for example, if Bitcoin dumps or if Bitcoin pumps, we would likely see something similar play out for the price of Solana as well. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.